Hi everyone, we are back. Technical difficulties aside, we are basically 5 minutes away, we presume, from the announcement of the new Wigan head coaches, or whatever that might be. Mark's joined us from Super League Pod. Mark, before we're refreshing every second. It's like trying to buy Glastonbury tickets. We're sort of refreshing, expecting everything to crash. What are you expecting at 8 o'clock?
Well, I'm expecting Adrian Lamb to be the head coach and Shaun Edwards to be coming in some sort of coach and oversight capacity is what I'm expecting. I'm expecting it all, basically.
Well, who knows? We might not be too far off. I've got all the sort of prompts ready. We've got Lamb and Edwards return to Wigan. We've got Lamb 2019 head coach. But what we were saying on the last show, we just said off air, and it's probably Big 1-6 or something like that. So we're just waiting for Wigan to do the announcement. I assume it will probably be.
As long as it's a t-shirt cannon, then I'm all right with Big 1-6. I feel like a free t-shirt.
I'm sure it'll probably be some kind of video that's tweeted at 8 o'clock or something along those lines by Wigan. So if we go silent for a few minutes, the three of us will probably be watching it independently and then try and react. David,
how do you think? How do you think about the way they've been bringing it through so far? These little teasers and stuff. I think if it was one of the more fondly liked clubs around the place, one of the more fashionable clubs, people would be banging on about how cool, like the little teaser with the commentary teasers and that. It's been good.
I think it's been fantastic. I think the thing that they've done really well is they've buried the Bateman news. It's just, they've done it a couple of times, haven't they, already this season? But I think they've done it well. David, what are you expecting at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, similar really. I think I don't think we'll get a curveball like we got this morning with the Bateman announcement, with the fact that he was agreed or signed, whichever way you want to word it, coming back. But yeah, pretty much same as Mark. I think it's nailed on that Lamb will be coming over, Edwards coming in, and hopefully might have another halfback coming in, a young halfback coming, joining us as well, with a former St Pat's player Lachlan coming over. That'd be nice as well as a little addition.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark, let's speculate that it is Lamb or it is Edwards or it is the two of them. How important do you think? I remember you wrote that open letter to George Williams. Do you think this potentially takes George Williams onto the next step of his career, having either one or two great halfbacks mentoring him?
I'm terrified about the idea that there's this rumour that George Williams is going, because this is exactly the sort of thing he needs. I think back to watching Lamb play for us, and let's hope that we're not all going to look stupid in 3 minutes' time, but I think back to watching Lamb play for us, and he was that halfback at that sort of stage of his career as well when he came over, that he just seemed to understand where the space was, where the opposition were going to go and where he needed to go. And so I know, like, Edwards, as great as he was and all of those sort of things, and he was able to run the show completely, it's a long time since he played, but Adrian Lamb has been recently involved in coaching setups for Australia and State of Origin and things like that. So he brings a lot of relevant tools to the table, and I think George Williams can definitely learn off a guy like that. And then, obviously, Edwards can't not teach them all something, can he, really? He's got so much experience.
Yeah, I mean, I assume this will obviously be public knowledge in 2 minutes, but the announcement of whoever the head coach is in 2 minutes' time, followed by there will be a press conference at Wigan tomorrow, you presume, with the head coach or video link if said head coach is still coaching the Sydney Roosters under 20s or wherever he may be at that time. Come on, Twitter. Right, 2 minutes to go. So the teasers so far, David, if I'm right in saying, we've had the drop goal, which was clearly Adrian Lamb in the Challenge Cup final.
Yeah.
And then what was the other one?
It was
it was the Shaun Edwards, Martin Offiah nod in celebrations, wasn't it?
Nod celebration. Okay. So yeah, minutes ago, Twitter refreshing. And it'd be fantastic if we could just go, I'm really sorry, we're just delaying it by half an hour.
Yeah.
Waiting for us to sort of
talk
tell
amongst yourselves.
118 people to tell. Yeah, just give us half.
They can't delay. They've scheduled the tweets. They're going to come out. It's fine.
Yeah.
Do you mean anything can go wrong? It's really, remember.
I'm just worrying what weird clause they put into the contracts about, like, what could definitely happen in 3 years' time.
Or like they announced it now, and Edwards obviously still wants to go to the Rugby Union World Cup, and it's just like, well, he's going to be our head coach for 4 months, and then he's going to go to a different sport, come back, And then, but it's all right because it's Shaun. Yeah, I'm sure that's obviously not going to happen, but you never know. So
right, we're on at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. We'll put the Twitter page there for people. Let's refresh it. Breaking news from Love Rugby League: Dean Hadley and Chris Green will return for Hull FC. What we wanted to hear, what we just wanted to hear.
We need Matty to do a bit of a dance or some poetry or something.
No, this is fantastic, isn't it? Like last at the Catalans game, you had a video watching 2 people and a vicar watching a rugby game, and now you got a video of 3 people refreshing Twitter. It's the future.
I'm disappointed, Shaun, anyway, when you said refreshing like you were booking Glastonbury tickets. I wish you'd have said refreshing like Saints fans cancelling Wembley hotels on booking.com last weekend.
I mean, our friends at Red V TV, we best not mention that. I assume you're referring to their tweet after the quarter-final victory, of which they put out links on booking.com with like a very little thing afterwards just saying, but if we don't get there on booking.com, you can just cancel them.
Well, you know.
I enjoyed that. I mean, there are 60 seconds in a minute, so I guess we could get it at 20:59.
Well, we're a minute in now.
On the website.
Yeah, we're a minute in. Have we crashed the website yet?
159 views though, Shaun. Watching us.
Yeah, hello. 159 people watching 3 people refresh Twitter. Honestly,
what sort of comments are we getting? Is anyone telling us that we're all onto an absolute loser here and we're doing utter nonsense?
Big 1-6.
I need to mention, Shaun, as well, one of my friends, Hannah, who lives down Northampton way, she put a message in on last time asking for a pie. It's a long story, but she's a Wigan fan in Northampton. She supports Coventry. I think she sponsors one of the Coventry players actually as well. Right. She wants a Wigan pie. So I owe her a pie from about 12 months ago from the Challenge Cup final last year.
Any specific type of pie?
Well, I told her, meat and potatoes as usual.
171 people and we're talking about pies.
Tell her next time she's at the Big Butt watching Cov to go and see the ground announcer Tim and he'll sort her out with a pie.
I'll tell her.
Lamb and Edwards. Come on, people. It's got to be Lamb and Edwards, hasn't it?
No.
We're going to be like the people that. We're going to be the people that are just the last to know. Everyone's telling us that it's on Twitter. Somebody's writing to Wigan saying it's 8:02.
Yeah. Have you got Phil Wilkinson's Twitter page? I'm just asking what's going on.
You're making us look like right idiots, Wigan. Come on. And like we said, Chris Radlinski's in his office.
There's definitely a press conference tomorrow, though, isn't there? So we're going to keep this running until the press conference at 11 o'clock tomorrow. I've got work to get to.
So is it on Facebook? Wigan Warriors.
Whilst we're waiting,
there we go. Wigan announced head coaches for 2019 and beyond: Adrian Lamb and Shaun Edwards. There we go, people. Breaking news. I'm just watching the video as we speak, so it looks like certainly Lamb is the head coach for 2019. And they're playing the video of the drop goals. That's the first thing. If you go on, it's been on Facebook for a couple of minutes. Yeah, they thought, they're watching Twitter. Let's put it on Facebook.
Put it on Facebook, yeah.
So they've just put it on Twitter now. So there we go. We've got Lamb definitely for 2019, and we've got Shaun Edwards in 2020. So Lamb and Edwards return to Wigan. That's official now. So I guess let's get the reaction. Mark, first of all, they're both coming home. It's obviously what we expected, but it's true. Exciting, I guess.
I'm really excited. I think that the fans have been demanded, haven't they? Sort of someone coming in who's either going to feel is going to give some attacking verve to the side, and that's been demanded for 2 or 3 years now. And you've got to say with these two, probably the best 2 halfbacks in the last 30 years of Wigan, aren't they? So that you should expect some attacking ideas that they can pass on. And we know we've got talented kids. We just maybe haven't had the right attacking direction over the last few years. So hopefully it's going to be what we all want, that magical dream of a faultless attack with vision and awareness and all of those skills.
I mean, I'm watching the video that they've put on Twitter and they've put on Facebook without any sound. I've got shivers going down my back just watching it without any sound, of seeing Shaun Edwards doing his nod celebration, seeing Adrian Lamb, and the fact that we've got, like you say, Mark, to have those 2 players who are coming in, and it's like it's the best of, but it's strange the way that it's going to happen. So we're going to have Lam for 1 year, presumably, and Edwards for the second year. It's an unprecedented announcement. It's the kind of thing that Wigan do. They break new ground with these kinds of deals. But David, your initial reaction, I know we've spoken about it, but do you think, like Mark does, it's massive for the likes of George Williams and Josh Woods and Sam Powell and those kinds of players?
I think so, yeah. I think it's quite a bit of a shift in direction. I think we're going to have been looking for that shift for a few years now, obviously, with the way Saints have played this season, the way Castleford played last season with that attacking flair. Wigan, obviously, the structures that Maguire put in place and Wayne carried on have stood well, but it looks as though the game's moved on a little bit and changed a little bit, and maybe those tactics aren't the same anymore. Obviously, they've got to address the crowd situation as well, because fans are drifting away, not just from Wigan but from the sport in general. So, yeah, I think it's exciting times. It'd be good to see what the youngsters can do, and with the players that we've lost as well as the backroom staff, it's a bit of a clean sweep, isn't it? A fresh brush, and might be just what we need.
Mark, do you think this announcement, and everybody that's watching, tell us what your initial reactions are, and we'll get that on screen as well. Do you think this announcement is a risk, considering we're appointing Adrian Lam, who's never been the head coach of a club, and we're appointing a player who's been away from rugby league for 20 years as our new head coach, but the three of us are here sort of praising them as two saviours, and neither of them have experience.
When was Steve Price the head coach? Well, actually, he was, weren't he, St George? When was Justin Holbrook the head coach of a club? When was Michael Maguire the head coach of a club? Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
For people coming in from down under. What we do know is that he understands the club, the fans, the culture, the demands, because we are a demanding bunch of people, as we've all found out over the last couple of years. We can sit near the top of the league, we can win the World Club Challenge, we can win the Grand Final, but it's not good enough. So we're a demanding bunch, but these lads know just how demanding we all are.
Well,
everyone else is happy.
I mean, Shaun Edwards and Adrian Lam, like you say, know better than anybody just the expectations of being a Wigan player and what the club expects. David, how big of a boost do you think this is to the fan base, and do you think it re-engages the club with fans now? The fact that it's almost like the club. If 6 weeks ago or whenever it was when Wayne announced his departure, Lam and Edwards, either one of them would have been fantastic. We've got two of them. Is this a big boost, you think, for us as fans?
I think so. I think it'll be a bit of a lift. It'll be interesting to see what the atmosphere is like on Friday against Cass as well. So how can you not like it? Edwards, most decorated player in the game's history. Lam, if you look at some of the other players that played alongside him, a lot of them have said he's one of the best players they've played against. Obviously, he's done it for Queensland, so he's done it at the top level. So yeah, it'd be fantastic for the club to get that on board, and a new play style would be superb.
Yeah, I'm just going through all the tweets here and all the messages just to put them on. Obviously, one of the issues, I guess, that's still to be resolved, Mark, and it'll be interesting to see how this goes. Is Lachlan Lam? The rumor is that he's basically been offered a deal for 2019. It looks like it would probably be an initial 1 year deal. He's still potentially making his mind up. Would you like to see him come over, knowing that it might only be for 12 months with his dad?
I'd prefer if we had a bit more of a longer term solution in place, ideally at halfback. I don't want to be developing a kid for someone else. I mean, ultimately we would be doing that in the long run, but I'd want to get more out of him if we were doing that, to be honest. But it's hard to tell, and it's hard to know what's going to happen. I've only really seen him play for PNG in the World Cup last year, to be completely honest. So I can't say I can see how rounded a game he's got yet and those sorts of things, but he's got good genes, and he looks quite talented. So if he comes in and makes a splash, I don't really care who comes in as long as we win trophies. That's my mantra.
So we've got.
What do you think? We haven't had your views on it. What do you think?
I know my videos are a bit frozen at the moment, so hopefully you can still hear me. But eventually this will, I've been holding this up for however long. Shaun Edwards is my absolute hero, and I'm good, as Mark knows. We're interviewing. The people from the fan engagement board were invited to the press conference that's tomorrow, and I can't go. So it's 11 o'clock. There's a press conference at Wigan where they're going to be unveiling. I assume Shaun Edwards and perhaps Adrian Lam by video call. And the fact that I don't get to meet Shaun Edwards tomorrow is sort of breaking my heart a little bit because he's my absolute hero. But yeah, I just the thing that and I'm going to try and find it later is there's a video from one of the British Lions tours. Which, they do the behind the scenes videos, and Shaun Edwards went on one 12 years ago, and obviously Andy Farrell's been on the last two. And when you see Shaun Edwards or Andy Farrell talking before a game in the dressing room, it's incredible, and the fact that he's going to be doing that in 2020 in the Wigan dressing room is really, really exciting. But the thing that I think I'm most excited about is the fact that we've got two backs that are coming in as coaches. We can't have this excuse now of, as good a job as Shaun Wane has done. There's always been, I think, this criticism about his play and the way that he gets his teams to play. Shaun Edwards has been a defence coach in rugby union, so we might be getting a little bit too carried away with the attacking flair that Shaun Edwards might bring in. But I'm interested to see what he brings to Wigan from rugby union. But I guess
what he can do for individuals. I think that's what I'm excited about with Edwards, even more so than Lamb. It's what he can do for individuals because, like you say, he's worked in like these coaching roles within the Wales setup and stuff in rugby union. But I'm guessing when you're a defence coach, you do come up with a plan, but you're also going to be working one-on-one with your players a bit more than the head coach might. And I think that's a skill he can bring in. He can work with people one-on-one and that sort of stuff. So Matt's changed his name. What's going on?
It's a fake account.
I mean, so Daniel touches on it here, and interested to get your thoughts on this, David. Is we've seen the picture of Shaun Edwards sat up in the East Stand with his pencil and paper making notes. Do you think there is going to be this crossover? Do you think we'll see Edwards at training in 2019, observing, learning from Lamb, learning from the coaches? I mean, I guess we'll learn more tomorrow, won't we, in the press conference? Or do you think it's basically 2019 is Lamb, 2020 is Edwards?
Has Edwards got his coaching badges? Are we going down the same?
Interesting story. Wayne Bennett paid for the RFL paid for them.
Oh right,
the RFL. Yeah. There's a good story somewhere about the RFL paying for them, and he owes the RFL quite a lot, not monetary value, but he's in debt to the RFL. He's got a debt to the RFL, and he's really thankful. And I think he went over to to Brisbane, and learned quite a bit off Wayne Bennett. I might have just made that completely up. But I think that's
a great story. Yeah, it's great.
It's a great story.
I mean, I'd be interested. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? Is Lamb going to be here for just 2019 and then go back to Australia, or is there a role for him long term? I'd like to think there's a role for him long term. I mean, what happens if he comes in next season and clears the board and going back to Mark's point, wins the treble, does everything? It's a bit of an odd one. Then it's like one of those. If he wins the grand final, cheers. There you go, Shaun.
And then when Holbrook goes back to Australia, and he moves to Saints, and then we're all pissed off about it.
Yeah, but doesn't he deserve a crack at the World Club Challenge if he wins the grand final? It's a dilemma, isn't it?
I mean, it's not similar to Maguire and Wayne, but I think when Maguire was appointed and Wayne was appointed, I think people could see that there was a genuine progression potentially for Wayne, but this one is guaranteed, so it is a little bit different. I mean, there you go. There's a completely different take on it from me, and it's an appointment to please fans who live in the past, and we all do. So, that is, I guess, part and parcel. Everyone's entitled to opinion, and it'll be interesting to see. They might both fail, and what happens if? So here we go. What happens if Lamb is sacked halfway through 2019 because we're in the middle eight?
Well, whoever the assistant is, they'll just have to roll us through the end of the season, or we'll make O'Loughlin head coach for 3 months or something. I don't know. I don't think it'll come to that. I don't think it'll come to that, Shaun. Let's not say things like that. Why are you scared of me?
I assume that they've.
I think the thing.
Why would you think that through? I guess
the thing that Ian said there was it Ian about like living in the past. I'd sort of buy into that more if these guys didn't have any credentials whatsoever as coaches. But we're talking about a guy in Edwards who was in demand for other coaching roles beyond just the Wigan Rugby League head coaching role.
Yeah, absolutely.
A guy that obviously Wales have wanted to retain when they're changing their head coach setup. They've tried to extend his contract. These were the talk about, was it Harlequins and England Rugby Union as well, looking at Shaun Edwards. So let's not pretend that it's just about pleasing the fan. That is a big part of this. That is definitely a part of this from the club standpoint, because it will help.
How good is that image, by the way?
But it's not.
How good is that to see?
Amazing. It's not that it's not just to pacify us, though, is it? That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and you can obviously see why people might think that. I say these images that we're going to put in on are sensational. They're a bit better than my drawings that I've just put on. But
you need to refresh the Twitter feed, Shaun, because Wigan Warriors Retail are getting in on the act now. They put a Lamb and Edwards shirt up. It's fantastic.
Bloody hell! All right, I thought you were going to. Yeah, here we go.
We're
I beat him to it. I've already got my flipping Edwards shirt here. What they're about? I've got a Queensland top on with Lamb. I've got a bloody. Oh, I couldn't quite get a PNG shirt with Lamb on it the last minute.
I'll be posting out my link to for people to buy PNG shirts for your Mascot Browns and.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to buy a Papua New Guinea shirt, either click on Mark's link or click on my link so that we get some money.
Kickback from that.
Yeah, we get a bit of money back for that. Exciting times, I guess. Let's wrap up in terms of final reaction, Mark, to what is. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but what is a big announcement from Wigan, certainly.
It's good news. I think it ticks all the boxes that need to be ticked. We needed something for the fans to feel engaged in and bought into, that they're going to really start wanting to roll through the turnstiles again. And it's really positive news. And it's the kind of appointments we were looking for from what you were saying about like our attack point of view. But they're not idiot coaches who only know how to play as a halfback and don't know the whole field. I think they're really exciting appointments. I'm chuffed.
David, your final thoughts? I'm guessing you're going to go to bed happy tonight.
Yeah, I think so. It's one of those now. At least we've got a bit of certainty. There's been a bigger uncertainty around for the last couple of months. So everything around Wayne, everything around who was replacing him, everything around John Bateman. So there's quite a few questions been answered today. The fans can now, they've got a name. So all the auto season ticket renewal people can be happy now that they've got an answer.
Don't bring that up.
Coach.
I wonder if more people will start making sure there's 230, 40, whatever it is, quid in your bank account next week to take the payment now that this announcement's happened.
Yeah, it'd be good to see the press conference tomorrow and see what else comes out of it and how that's going to work in terms of, is Lamb just here for 2019 or is he going to be?
I'm just refreshing the website now. I think there's a few more details gone on the website. It's just the website's crashed at this moment in time. But I know George Briscoe says you can get on the website with all the details now. So I guess without telling people to leave the broadcast, a lot more details will be on the Wigan website. The final thing from myself is, although I'm not at the press conference tomorrow, I will be I'll be speaking to Chris Radlinski on Tuesday to do a bit of a quick interview for the next episode of the fanzine. It completely changes the perspective of those questions now, this news. And I know now why he's really keen to do the interview next week and not this week, which is interesting. So there's a link on the page and everything like that for people to put their questions. Put your questions that you want Chris Radlinski to answer. I know there's a few questions in there about how does this affect the recruitment for 2019? How does it affect the recruitment for 2019 and beyond? We've got two coaches who I'm sure will have completely different angles on who they prefer in various positions. So there's a lot of answers.
Actually, that's an interesting point you mentioned there, but that ties into the fact that Lamb is a complete kind of novice as a head coach. Whereas Edwards is more experienced at being in senior coaching roles, because Lamb kind of at that level probably wouldn't get to have as much say as an entry-level coach, whereas Edwards obviously would expect to say. So will the recruitment be driven towards 2020 rather than next year? Yeah, sorry, you were wrapping up.
Yeah, no, I was, and I'm just waiting for the page to refresh. So yeah, press conference 11 o'clock tomorrow. Keep your eye on Wigan's official Twitter and everything like that, and see the man himself, and possibly, I guess I don't think Adrian Lamb would have bothered flying over, will he? But see Shaun Edwards at least tomorrow, and be interesting to see Lenigan and Radlinski's take on everything. And obviously, everything will be probably a bit clearer by dinner time tomorrow afternoon. But good news heading into the Castleford game. Mark, whilst I've got your thoughts on prediction for Castleford, do you think we'll beat them?
Yeah, did Rob go something stupid like Cats by 40? It'll be Wigan by 10.
No, he said 14. When he started, 14, I heard 4 and I was going 40. And then I let him have a couple of minutes of having a rant about Leeds, so he was happy.
I'll catch that up after this.
But yeah, so you think we're going to win on Friday? You confident?
Yeah, I think so. Williams and Sutton back in the time. Sutton has been a bigger miss than we've really realised. Think about how much our pack was able to dominate teams early on because we didn't lose out when Flower and Club weren't on the pitch because Sutton was being as good as Flower and Club were. And I think that's been overlooked a little bit, especially because he was leaving. We didn't quite want to give him the credit maybe he was deserving. But those three prop forwards have really been important, and having that back in place, I think, will help us a lot.
The thing that I'm going to really miss on Friday with Sutton being back is the really, I want to say cute, but the interesting relationship that he has with Talima Tautai when they're both on the bench, when they're just at the kickoff. Tautai always runs over to warm up into the corner, and Sutton always goes and gets his bib for him and hands it to Talima. So it's like a little ritual that they have. So keep an eye on it and see who Ryan Sutton goes and gets a bib for on Friday with Tautai being suspended for 4 weeks. But right, let's get on with normal life and let's go and read everything about everybody's reaction. Mark, thank you for joining us. I know you've had a busy week, and David, thanks for staying with me for the best part of an hour.
Yep, no worries. Catch you later.
Thanks everybody for watching. See you later.